Hello and welcome back to the weekly Sneaky Food Review. Today we are featuring yet another member of the Cruciferous family. Please help me welcome Cabbage. Now you may be wondering, Michelle, really what's with all the brassicas? Well, I can assure you this has nothing to do with an inner desire to set a trend or make a fashion statement, even though New York Fashion Week is coming up. No, this has much more to do with the fact that cabbage provides more medicinal value than just about any other natural food available to us. Throughout history, we've seen cabbage used as both a food and a medicine. Like kale and collards, it developed from wild cabbage that was brought to Europe around 600 BC. Both the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans held cabbage in high regard, viewing the vegetable as a general cure-all. Now, even though we don't know exactly where or when the head cabbage that we're familiar with developed, we do know that cultivation of the vegetable spread across Northern Europe into Germany, Poland, and Russia, where it quickly became a dietary staple and important part of regional food culture. Finally, we have early German settlers to thank for bringing both cabbage and the recipe for making sauerkraut with them when they traveled to the New World. Even though I've already extolled the many virtues of eating cruciferous vegetables in previous videos, when it comes to cabbage, I'm truly blown away. And this is because cabbage contains higher levels of some of the most powerful antioxidants found in this family of foods. In addition to its amazing vitamin C content, and yes, one serving of cabbage does contain more vitamin C than an orange, it is also rich in phytonutrients, including polyphenols and anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are the polyphenols that give red cabbage its beautiful color. These nutrients help to reduce both oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, thereby helping to prevent the development of both cardiovascular disease and various forms of cancer, including breast, colon, and prostate cancer. Cabbage is also rich in substances called glucosinolates. These are very special nutrients that are unique to the cruciferous family. As we've seen in previous videos, glucosinolates possess very powerful anti-cancer properties. And together with the polyphenols and glutamine found in cabbage, they also play a significant role in digestive health, including the ability to both prevent and heal stomach ulcers. And that's not all. Cabbage is an excellent source of dietary fiber and vitamin K. And it's really important to get enough vitamin K in your diet because it helps produce healthy bone tissue, and it's also very, very helpful in limiting damage to brain cells that can lead to the development of Alzheimer's disease. So I hope I've made it clear just how beneficial eating cabbage can be to your health. Now that we're moving into the tastier part of the show, let's take a look at the different varieties of cabbage available to us. There are three basic types: green, red, and Savoy. Both green and red cabbage have smooth leaves, full flavor, and a crunchy texture, whereas Savoy cabbage has more ruffled leaves and both its texture and taste are more delicate. Now, when you're selecting your cabbage, you want to look for heads that are firm, dense, and shiny. The leaves should be free from cracks and blemishes, and you also want to avoid buying pre-cut heads. As soon as you cut cabbage, we start losing the valuable vitamin C content. So this goes for shredded or halved heads as well. If you do find yourself with a partial head of cabbage, try wrapping it well in plastic wrap and store it in your vegetable crisper, but try to use it within 2 days. Otherwise, storing cabbage in a cool environment really helps to retain both its freshness and its vitamin C content. You can store red and green cabbage in a plastic bag in your vegetable crisper for up to 2 weeks. And storing Savoy cabbage in this way will stay fresh for about 1 week. Now, time for a pop quiz. When I say cabbage, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? If you said coleslaw, you're in good company. Coleslaw is probably the most popular way of preparing cabbage in both Canada and the United States. However, there are so many other amazing ways to enjoy this vegetable. First of all, you can add it to soups. You can eat it raw in salads, as we know, but you can also juice it and add it to other fresh fruit and vegetable juices. Very, very nutritious. You can use large cabbage leaves and stuff them with meat and rice as you would be making cabbage rolls. And then if you're lucky enough to get an invitation to my parents' house for my dad's boiled dinner, then you're in for a treat, because I think that is the most succulent way of enjoying cabbage. Then, of course, there are all the European dishes made with cabbage, like sauerkraut and sausages, or the delicious Austrian dish called Krautfleckeln that we're going to be making shortly. Krautfleckeln loosely translates to cabbage with noodles. This is a traditional Austrian dish that is typically served as a vegetarian entree. To make 4 servings of this dish, you will need 600 grams of green cabbage, 200 grams of either Fleckeln, which are little square noodles that are really hard to get here in Canada, or you can use broad noodles that you break up into small pieces. You will need 150 grams of finely chopped onion, 20 grams of sugar. Now, I really like to use coconut palm sugar, but you can use white or brown sugar, whatever you choose. You will also need 2 tablespoons of either avocado or olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. You can use coconut oil in this recipe, but this is one place where I really like the flavor that butter adds to this dish. We're going to start by cooking our noodles. We need to add them to boiling salted water. And we're going to cook these egg noodles for roughly 6 to 7 minutes. What we want are noodles that are still slightly firm in the middle. If you're using noodles other than egg noodles, you need to cook them a little bit longer, but until they're slightly firm. So while that's cooking, we're going to move on and start caramelizing some onions with our cabbage. So add your olive or avocado oil to a large skillet, heated over medium-high heat. You're also going to add your 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to melt this until the butter is nice and bubbly. And now that our butter is nice, melted, and bubbly, we're going to add our 20 grams of coconut palm sugar. And we basically want to stir this until it's dissolved, and we're going to be allowing the sugar to start to caramelize. And this is going to give really that unique flavor that is typical of this dish. Now, if you're thinking that looks like quite a bit of butter and fat, you're right. This is a relatively rich dish served as a side. We like to serve it also as a side dish. And this is only about half the amount of butter that would normally be used in the Austrian version of this dish. Okay, I can see my sugar is really starting to melt. And it's all nice and streaky, like it smells like caramel. Okay, and now to this, we're going to add our onions. And we want to saute these until they're tender and translucent. So with our onions nice and soft, we're now ready to start cooking our cabbage. So we're going to add our cabbage all at once to the skillet. Season this with some sea salt and a generous amount of black pepper. And then we're going to pour water, and you can also use vegetable stock or chicken stock for this. What we want to do is bring this back to a boil, and then we're going to let it steam covered for about 25 minutes, just until the cabbage is tender, but not too soft. So our cabbage is now ready. Most of the liquid has evaporated, and it is nice and tender with a little bit of nice golden brown color on it. So we're going to add our noodles. Stir those in well to combine all this goodness. We're just about there. We want to heat the noodles through, and then we're going to re-season with a little more sea salt and black pepper. And we'll be just about ready to have lunch. So we can divide our Cruciferous into 4 even servings for a main course, and then just garnish with a little bit of parsley. And there you have a wonderful Austrian après-ski dish, Cruciferous. Cruciferous is a delicious cold weather dish and a great way to get your kids to eat more of this wonderful vegetable. To increase protein content of this meal, you can serve this dish with a side green salad or lentil soup, both of which will complement the amino acids found in the whole grain noodles. For you carnivores out there, this is also delicious with sausages. I hope you've enjoyed today's review, and you can find all of these recipes at chewtolive.com. Please subscribe to our video blog by clicking on the button below. Our goal is to reach 100 subscribers by next week's review. I'll see you then.